Agenda this month, and I only have one item for Finance, Admin, and Policy. We have a donation request that has been brought forward by Queen of Peace Middle School. The town has been approached on behalf of the grade 7 students of Queen of Peace Middle School and their parents for a cash donation or gift card contribution toward their annual MORP, M-O-R-P, which is prom backwards. So it's a mini prom for the leaving of their intermediate school and into the high school. So it's organized and hosted by volunteer parents to provide a safe, positive, inclusive, and memorable celebration for all grade 7 students. No donations have been made in the past for this event. Donations were made in 2017, 18, 20, and 26 to Queen of Peace Middle School for the Kids Eat Smart program. I think it's worth differentiating that this is not an official school request. Again, it's a request from students and their parents who are attending Queen of Peace Middle School. So we need to consider whether this follows our policy F0020, and if we look at that policy, this is based in Happy Valley-Goose Bay. Does it have a direct benefit to the residents? Is it a not-for-profit? And they did not provide any fundraising efforts. So when we get to our meeting next week, we'll have a couple of options. We can either approve a donation, staff recommends at this point $250, or we can deny the request. So if anybody has any discussion, anything they'd like to have input on this particular event?
I think it's important to note that the school itself doesn't take on this. This is an effort by the families and the parents and anybody who is graduating. So this is not something that the school staff is doing. So it's something, and it's always been pretty successful. So.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments? No. CAO.
Just want to make note that in their letter they say that we kindly ask that donations be received by May 22nd.
Okay. So the amount is below $250, and staff issue a check because it's less than 500.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll just have to sign off on it. Okay.
Just got a question. Is this the first time, or didn't we do this last year too as well?
We've never received a request from this
We've never
group before.
received a request in the past for
Okay.
this. We've received for other things, but not
Yeah.
for this.
Okay.
Maybe more a
From
few years ago
Safe,
back. Nadine.
Safe Grad
Yeah.
from Mealy.
Which is
but
grade
not
12.
from-
Not
Yeah.
from
not
this one.
Queen of Peace.
That's great.
Okay. All right.
That is the
That's it.
only item that has come up for Finance, Admin, and Policy this month.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Moving into community planning and development, Councillor Dyson, please.
Well, that's a record for finance and administration to be in and out of that within
4 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, we have a number of things on the agenda. The first one is a discretionary land use application for, the applicant is looking to operate home-based business for the operation of beauty services. This one in particular is a lash service. The property is zoned residential multi-unit, and the applicant lives at this location, and all required services will be done at that location. The ad was placed on the website from April 23rd to the 30th. The town has not received any comments or concerns with regards to the application to date. And the town regulations and conditions, of course, are in compliance with municipal development regulations, compliance with all other provincial and federal authorities, obtain application for occupancy business registration at the applicant's cost, as well as fire, life, and safety inspection. And this was a discretionary use application. The business activity does not result in traffic congestion, as it is one client at a time.
Okay, any questions? I just have one. Maybe the town engineer could answer it. So is the applicant the property owner, or does the applicant
That's what
require?
it says in the application.
It is I couldn't find that when I looked last
Yeah, in the
night.
application, if you look at the application, it says I, and then it says the applicant, and then it says applicant signature, and then it says property owner signature, and the same person
Okay,
has signed
okay.
both. I had the same question.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
okay,
Yep.
all right, good. No issue with that one. Next one?
Okay. The next one is a discretionary use application. The applicant is looking to operate a home-based office for the operation of matting services. The property is zoned residential varied density, and the applicant lives at this location and owns the house. All the work are at the locations that are requiring the services, and the ad was placed on the website for comments from May the 4th to the 11th. The town has not received any comments or concerns with regards to this application to date.
Okay, any questions? I think there may be a mistake in the actual briefing note, because at the name.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So it's
It's just a copy and paste.
Allison, I'm not sure who Allison is.
No, that was
From the
copied and
previous
pasted from
one,
the
copy
previous
and
one.
paste.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we can have that changed for the public meeting. Okay, next one. So the next one is 41 Montagnes Road. I will remove myself from the chair and hand it to, I guess, are you declaring a conflict on this one? If not, I will hand the gavel.
I already declared a conflict, but I have
You're reading them, so.
a question before, I don't know if I stay in my chair or not, whether Todd
But
is.
we aren't dealing with this one.
No,
Oh, we're
She's
discussing, we're not dealing with
she's
anything
reading
tonight,
the,
right?
No,
just
we're not,
discussing.
we're not even discussing because it doesn't close till tomorrow.
that's what I
Still
thought.
on the agenda, right?
So do we declare a conflict if we're not discussing it?
It's still on the agenda.
But it's not being discussed.
There's no discussion until after the date expires?
The expiry date,
Come forward.
yeah, the expiry date is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we do have some responses, but right now, I think it might be premature to actually discuss it until we get our responses. So,
Special meeting,
pardon?
a special meeting
No,
requirement.
this is just committee of the whole anyway.
No, but after this, after the time has elapsed on.
Time doesn't elapse till tomorrow.
Right,
That's
but
why it
then-
can't be discussed until the time has elapsed.
Right, that's what I mean, do we have a special meeting
So it
after
should
that
not have
time,
been
or
on
we
the
wait till the
agenda.
following?
It'll be discussed at council meeting.
Okay.
So after the closing, after the expiration of the advertising period, we will collate all the responses
Update the
and
briefing
and
note.
update the briefing note and provide that to council well in advance of the council meeting.
So it probably shouldn't have
Makes
been on
sense.
the agenda.
Well, it was there for information of council that we were entertaining this application, and
Makes sense.
So we'll discuss it at the public meeting.
we will discuss it at the public meeting, that's correct.
Yep.
Anthony.
So there's nothing to add to this right now until the closing period, which is 4:30 today, but.
No, tomorrow.
It
I think the ad
closes on the,
stated that,
Tomorrow.
on or before the 13th, but the ad stated, so that would be.
so before the 13th would be, I guess,
Today.
12 o'clock
End of
tonight,
business
Midnight
today.
today.
midnight tonight.
Okay, so we'll take that off the agenda for this month, or wait till the committee of the whole?
Or do
It's
we
on
have
the
to-
It'll
agenda.
come to the public meeting.
CAO, do you have
It stays on the agenda, so. It stays on the agenda, there's no discussion because it's incomplete at this time.
Right,
So it stays on the agenda to be transferred to council meeting, and there'll be a full discussion at council meeting
and
with all
vote.
the information, and you will have it in advance in your package.
Okay, all right,
So the discussion and the vote will occur.
At the council meeting.
at the public meeting, okay. Crown Lands application 16537 Park Drive.
Okay, this is Crown Lands application for a grant for residential use to build a new garage. Property is zoned residential low density. It is residential use. The accessory buildings are permitted use in this zone. This is just basically a Crown Lands application because the owner of the property purchased the property and the building was already there. So it's just basically an extension of his property so that he owns the buildings on the property. He bought the house at 32 Park Drive, and this is just, and we had this before, that they
Well,
didn't
when,
have-
and when you look at the map, this will bring 32 in line with 30.
Yes, yep,
I would also suggest if the owner of 34 happens to tune into our meeting or be listening to our meeting, 34 should be doing the same thing, because 34 has outbuildings that are not on their property. So hopefully 34 will have a chat over the fence to 32 and say,
I think
Maybe I
that
should
chat
do
has
that too.
actually happened,
perfect.
yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and we've done that in the past. We've pretty well squared
Squared
out
off, yeah.
properties in the back.
Just makes sense.
Yeah, but like, when I'm looking at the map, that's not squaring them all off, is it? I mean, it's
No, just
this is one.
32.
No, it's just somebody decided that they were going to build something far behind their property,
Yeah,
and they went ahead and did it, and didn't apply for a building permit or didn't do whatever, because there's nothing on file that says that they did, but
the
they're
neigh-
all
yeah, But the
using it.
neighbor already did,
30 did.
yeah.
32 and 34 did not. 32 is now making it right, and hopefully 34 will follow suit.
Okay.
And
Any more discussion on that one?
28, 26.
All right.
So is that the only outlying properties now that,
No.
be recognized.
No, in the
They're all
municipality,
over
you
the
mean?
place.
no, I mean,
Okay.
No, in the
I was
street.
gonna say, this is
it's-
commonplace.
There's 4 of them that, or 3 of them have, by looking at the map, and the rest haven't yet.
But around
They
town
would
and
have
up
to
in that
apply.
area, the same thing is happening on surrounding streets.
Yeah,
We've done this for years, this is.
Yeah.
commonplace in this municipality, unfortunately.
But again, it doesn't make it right that they've basically
Continued to
took land
build
that they
on-
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And it can cause complications for them when they go to
If they go to sell their
sell.
properties. they should-
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to Crown Lands application, Goose River Access Road.
Oh, hang on. Oh, it's on the back. Okay, this is a Crown Lands application for a lease for aggregate stockpiling storage mineral workings. The property is zoned industrial general. Mineral working is not permitted in the IG zone. 5-3-12 mineral working definition. Mineral working means land or buildings used for the working, stockpiling, or extraction of quarry materials as defined under the Quarry Materials Act of 1998, including peat extraction. It is approximately 2.88 hectares. The staff's recommendation is to object to this as it is an area zoned industrial general in which mineral working is not a permitted or discretionary use. And it comes to us because Crown Lands requires council to be involved in that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
So that one is on South Branch Road, right, Mr. Dillon?
No, it's Norfolk River Road. I believe.
Goose River
Goose
Road
River.
access?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I thought I seen
Kind of
South
the-
Groves
Branch
Point
somewhere.
Road, I guess.
I seen South Branch
there.
Road listed there,
Yeah, Goose River Access Road would be,
might have been a
well, again,
typo.
that might be on the other side too.
Well, the information is all there.
The address is South Branch Road.
South Branch
Yeah,
Road.
South Branch
Yeah,
Road.
that's what I thought.
Okay, any comments on that? The question, and I think Counselor answered it, Mr. Dillon, if it's not permitted, why is it coming to council?
CAO. Mayor?
CAO?
I was saying, Counselor Dyson already addressed that.
Yeah, but is it clear?
All Crown Lands applications require a response from council, which means.
Regardless if they're permitted or not?
Correct.
Which,
Objection or
isn't
not
that more
objection?
red tape? That, really, we're
They-
spending, staff spending time at an application, and council is having to discuss an application that's
Yeah.
never gonna be approved.
Mhm.
And it
But-
needs minutes of council to go with the response.
Yes,
So-
and as well, we've had this discussion several times over the years about things that have come from Crown Lands to the council, and the timelines didn't work out, and the council has provided objection to things that were happening because it wasn't in line with what the zoning was for. Council has provided objection in the past, and Crown Lands went ahead and approved it anyway. So sometimes that's a real issue. Like, they're coming to us looking for our input, and then when we give our input, sometimes it doesn't mean anything to them. They're gonna do what they wanna do. So that's really frustrating. And I think that's something that we talked about addressing with the Premier as well.
Yes, Crown Lands is a big challenge for us, and, again, too much red tape. Anyway.
Too much red tape and town staff time and resources put into something that they don't have any authority to do.
Okay, we'll move on to, Crown Lands application
165379.
165379.
Okay, the applicant, this is a Crown Lands application for grant for a residential home. This property is owned residential low density. Residential housing is permitted use in residential low density. The property was purchased in December of 2023. And the recommendation that comes from staff is that there is no objection.
Okay, so there's no, it's Crown Lands application, so there's a property there. You're saying it was purchased, which confuses me. If the property
Well,
was purchased,
Yes,
how was
and
it
I
applying
think,
for Crown Land?
if memory serves me right, this was one of the pieces of land that the town had identified for town use, wasn't it, Mr. Dillon? And then Crown Lands went and approved it anyway?
Because I'm not aware of being notified about approval. I know piece of property you're talking about.
Yep,
But.
but didn't we have this discussion at the
That's
prior
come to
council?
council numerous times over the years, because I think when the area was zoned initially, there was a buffer there between Hamilton River Road and the residential subdivision.
Yep,
And then all of a sudden, I see land cleared up the last fall, and now we're still, how was Crown Lands involved if the land was purchased?
Just look at the map, this is on Airfield side, not towards Hampton River Road.
Okay.
This,
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed one, I think.
If you look at the map, there's a
Yeah, we
small
missed
section there
4.6.
marked in red.
4.6?
okay, maybe it's,
Yeah, it's
maybe
not there.
it's,
Are you talking about Juniper Street?
No?
no.
Oh, that's what
4.6.
we're
That's what
looking
it
at
should be
is
too, yeah.
Juniper.
That's 4.6.
Okay, I'm reading, I guess, it's
We
just
jumped
in
the
my,
red- we
it's,
jumped-
it's in my listing in the wrong way.
So my question was to the engineer, Mr. Dillon, is that lane serviced? Is there water and sewer on that land?
That road is serviced, so that.
Right to that? But
that
I didn't know if
particular
it
lot.
ended at the plot previous, or if it was actually serviced, because I had thought that we had conversations about this one before, and it was, let them know that if somebody wanted that land, that the water and sewer didn't extend down that far, but does it extend down that far?
Well, if it's not, the owner would be responsible
And
to
that's what I'm
service
wondering,
it.
yeah, if he knows that.
Well, that would be his responsibility.
Okay. All right, any other comments on that? That's Juniper, correct? Somehow I skipped over one.
I can go back to Juniper.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, that particular one was
Yeah, which
Valleyfield.
one?
We gotta know which one we're talking about first,
Yeah, this one
because
was Valleyfield,
Okay, Valley View.
across from
Valley
Sand
View
Hill.
was the
Yes.
one that I was referring to,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the question I had, was
Okay.
with respect to, if it's,
what you're
If the-
talking about, Councilor Rumble, is the Juniper one.
Right, the next one
Okay,
in my.
so we'll deal with the Juniper one
Right.
after we're finished discussing this one, this Valley View one. And if memory serves me correct, and I stand to be corrected, this is a perfect example of when it went to Crown Lands, because we had had a discussion, not in the last council, but in 2017, 2021, about that land, the town possibly having use for that land.
I believe you're correct, Councillor. I think the town objected to that.
Yep. And Crown Lands
And
went
Crown
ahead
Lands
and
went
did it
ahead
anyway.
and
Perfect
approved it
example,
anyway.
perfect time. But
Yes.
it goes to show that what's happening with Crown Lands and their communications with the town is not, I mean, it's not helping. It's causing more chaos. So when the town has to have input into a Crown Lands application and provides input into a town lands application, and then Crown Lands goes directly against the town's recommendation, and this is what we have to deal with. So-
okay, so that application is, for a little sliver of Crown land to the land that he had purchased from another individual, so.
It's not a little sliver, it's quite a big piece.
That
No,
red
it's-
spot on your map,
Yeah, he's already,
that's all it is.
yeah, he already got that already.
Just that
Yes,
little
but
red.
that entire piece of land
Should never have
Yeah.
been.
Just that piece in red marked on that map.
Because the town objected to the overall applications over the years
Yep.
for that particular piece of land.
Yep.
And somewhere through the jigs and reels, Crown Land said, we're gonna give it to you anyway,
Yep.
whether the town objected or not, so.
What was the reason? That's before our time, right? So what was the reason?
It was
for
just done, we didn't even get notification, or did we?
No,
I'm trying to remember what year that was when I looked up a few
I think it was
months ago.
2018.
During the pandemic or something, it was
no, I think
2019
it
or
was,
something,
it was 2018 or 2019.
when they
12
applied
council.
last, yeah.
Yeah,
It's possible we received notification, but because we objected, I think it was just filed. And it wasn't until actually when it would everything was, when the new construction started, did we realize that actually Crown Lands had approved this piece of land, contrary to our objection.
Yeah.
exactly.
Is there a reason? I'm just trying to catch up.
Well, that's the whole
What was the
thing.
reason for the objection? Do you remember?
I think the issue.
Because the town was going to, the
As a
town had
buffer.
possible plans to use that as a buffer in that area. That was what we provided objection for, because the town had future use plans for that area. So we provided objection to Crown Lands, and then before we knew it, Crown Lands had approved the application, and it was,
Okay, yeah,
it was
I understand that part. But do the town now have plans for that now?
not now, because we have no right.
We have no
It's
right
gone
now,
ahead.
it's,
They
it's,
haven't purchased
it was transferred and it's done.
So, just one other question, Mr. Dillon, before we move on. So, that area behind Valley View, we had indicated a while back that the town should look at acquiring that Crown land to protect it as a green belt. Because we did have a situation where somebody applied for a piece of Crown land 2
Same
years
time.
ago, and council objected to it, and next thing you know, a neighbor on Thompson or Valley View, or
Mealy Mountain.
Mealy Mountain, sorry,
Downwood.
is looking out the window and somebody's cutting down all the trees that was in the back of his yard. So we gotta make sure that, that doesn't happen again, because it's just gonna be, you're gonna take away a green area,
That's another example
right?
of them
That's another
overriding
example
the
of
town
Crown
decision.
Lands just totally ignoring the
Yeah.
views.
So
of-
yeah,
of
so
Crown.
looking at that map there now, 3 could now say, okay, I wanna square off my property, like the
Exactly.
other one that we just looked at. And then 5, and then so on, and then your green belt is completely
Okay.
wiped out, yeah.
So I would suggest that staff look at the process of acquiring that land so that we can protect it from any development in the future.
That's correct, Mayor. Actually, staff are actually going through all the various Crown Land pieces in town and preparing a program for making application to many of these.
Okay.
For
And
many
there's a
of these.
canoe trail there too, isn't there?
People would not maintain, but people use it.
Yeah,
as
that's what I mean,
access,
is-
yeah.
Easy access, I guess.
Maybe we
for
could,
anybody
like say,
that's
use
on
that
the
as
street
part of our
around
application
Oak
as access for
Yeah.
recreational vehicles.
And as well, I think we add add the whole issue to our meeting with the Premier as well.
Crown lands is a problem everywhere.
Yeah.
CAO?
Further to what the engineer just stated with staff looking into lots, the direction has been given to prioritize land that town has interest in using. Either we have utilities there, or we use it for snow clearing purposes, or it's for future development. And then we'll go down, look at the more enclosed spaces, the OSTP spaces, things, so we're trying not to, I guess, overwhelm with too many applications at once, but to prioritize them in that manner.
But perhaps we need to be on the record and write Crown Lands and the minister and indicate that what has happened in the past is very disappointing for council, and that we would ask that no further applications be considered until council is in agreement.
Yeah, I agree.
Or, I mean, as Counselor Dyson said, we put all this time and energy and resources into reviewing and providing objection. If they're going to override our input, then perhaps we have to justify everything, right? We have to say, you know, this is our justification for providing objection or providing no objection. Why are they not coming back to us with their
Justifying why they-
justification as to, you know, if they have information that we're not privy to, or if they, whatever caused them to override our decision, they're not, like you said, this happens, but nobody comes back to us and says, dear Town of Happy Valley Goose Bay, despite your providing objection, we have decided to proceed for this applicant, like, we don't know until something is begun, till something started to be built. So, you know, the onus, the burden should be on them to, at the very least, they shouldn't be doing it, but at the very least, inform us when they do override our decisions.
All right, we'll move back, I should say, to
Move back
Juniper Street.
to Juniper. Okay. This is a Crown Lands application for a grant for residential use. The property is zoned residential low density. The applicant intends to construct an apartment unit. That apartment unit is basically in line with all the other apartment units, because it's all that's consisted up there is apartment units. And it is a discretionary use in that zone.
Okay,
So,
question?
so is this, like, say, this one is residential low density, same as 41 Montagnes is residential low density?
Yeah,
Right.
but there's this residential, these fourplexes are surrounded by fourplexes. Those are all
No,
apartments.
what I'm saying is there's still the same zone, right?
RLD one, yeah.
The zones are, the zone is noted as being the same, yes, but all the surrounding properties on Juniper are multi-unit apartments. It's not at all like 41 Montagnes, surrounded by houses.
Okay, we gotta be careful not to talk about 41 Montagnes at this point, because it's not on the table.
It's not on the table.
But anyway, any other comments on it? I think, Councilor Rumble, you had a comment
I had
earlier.
asked, yeah, if the water and sewer was down to the end of, because I just wanted to make sure that the applicant is aware that if that is unserviced land, that the responsibility is on him to tie it into the water and sewer.
Yes, that would be, well, obviously, that would be his responsibility. I'm fairly certain that he would be aware
Aware,
of that
yes.
because he owns the neighboring properties.
Yeah.
Another point too, I guess, with regards to the street itself, again, the street does not extend to that apartment as well, or to that piece of property. So what would the
Well,
the applicant's responsibility be with that?
All infrastructure associated with that development will be the responsibility of the
That's in the
developer.
briefing note. That's
Okay.
in,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. All right, and we have one more, 214 Kellen Drive Comprehensive Plan Development.
Okay, the applicant is looking to build 3 motel buildings at 214 Kellen Drive. The property is zoned industrial commercial. A motel is a permitted use under industrial commercial zone with sections 2.24 requirements for a comprehensive plan development, goals and objectives of land use policies for the development area, identification of a developable area of site indicating accommodations for site conditions such as poor drainage, steep slopes, flooding potential, and rocky ground. Proposed siting of new buildings or additions, including building area size, building height, and setback distances to property lines. Building lot area coverage where applicable, total number of proposed multi-unit residential dwellings or strata unit commercial and or industrial units, and interior floor plans, layout drawings of proposed parking areas, the total number and size of parking spaces and maneuvering aisles, access and egress locations to parking area, provisions for bicycle parking where applicable, landscape screening for parking areas and stormwater drainage management, identification of outdoor amenity and open space and recreation areas, identification of unenclosed storage areas and area size, overview of landscaping treatment and approach for the site development, phasing of the development, street and servicing layout, including on-site road pattern and traffic in relation to surrounding community in conformance with the town standards, indicate any uses related to the long-term maintenance of streets and other services, if required, an amendment to municipal plan and development regulations for adoption by the council. And it's a very detailed layout that they've provided to accompany that application.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Any comments?
So I guess through engineering, all the town requirements would be handled and looked after.
Well, I guess the issue is access to those back motel units that's being proposed. You know, emergency access for, fire trucks and ambulances and so on, that really needs to be addressed, you know, at this stage before we actually encourage or approve the developer to go ahead and give an approval, and provide an approval in principle. He should be willing to give a commitment that there's an adjacent road that can be constructed that is there, that has been reserved, that really should be constructed to access the hotel and the motel units that
And
will
that re-
provide adequate access.
That request has went to them already?
I was just gonna ask that, yeah.
There's a request for them to provide that commitment and all those details, that has went to this applicant already?
I'll have to check with our technician to see if that was
See, I
discussed
would
with them.
think that that wouldn't happen until after we say, yes, we want to approve it as an approval in principle with conditions, right? And then once that would be done, I would imagine that they would say, okay, you have an approval in principle with these conditions.
I would
Right.
think that the request would have to go through, though, because you're actually, it's gonna be part of what their plan is, so you don't approve something and then turn around and say, well, they're not gonna give the commitment.
But that's
that-
why I thought we were doing, or the staff had suggested we do an approval in principle instead of an approval.
But wasn't
Right,
it-
because the approval in principle, I guess, or conditional approval, however you want to word it, would be, we can approve based on the following conditions, right? Because that recommendation reads as an approval in principle.
Yeah, but Mr. Dillon, are they aware of the road access? Did anybody have that conversation with them?
Well, I guess right now at this stage, we can provide an approval in principle to proceed. But the issue is that he's gonna have a big issue trying to get access to the properties in behind, without constructing a road.
Yeah.
So, if he proceeds and goes to Service NL and does his plans and tries to get, approval, we may not be amenable to approving something that don't have adequate access to the back units.
So basically, there would have to be access to the back before we can approve any construction of the units.
So who's responsible for the road then?
That would be the developer.
So, Mr. Callahan has to build the road, access road in the back and pay for it
Yes.
in order to get access to 3.
Hotels.
Well, and I would think that that would be the purpose, again, of an approval in principle, because then you have the opportunity for the applicant to say, you know what, this is way too big of an endeavor, I want to walk away, or, you know what, yep, I really think that this is going to be worth my while. I mean, you know, you have to give the developer all the information first so that they can make an informed and educated decision as to,
But I would think that he
I-
already got that information, that there needs to be access. If we're discussing here publicly tonight, like, has there been any discussion with the developer on road access?
Well, the initial
Well,
approval
I-
was
he
based-
already
I guess
has
it's up
two
to council
motels
whether or
there.
not we want to give him an approval in principle to proceed as is and let him provide all the requirements for the comprehensive plan development as noted by Councillor Dyson. And as well, he's going to have to address the access to the back units.
Because he already
Now-
has two properties there, 2 structures.
But
that's
if you
way up
look at
front,
the
though.
map, it's not easy access to those back
No,
units, and it
yeah.
could be an
Yeah.
issue.
From my understanding, what I'm looking at here, and what you're saying, is he has to build a road that goes back from Kelland, back to the future development, whatever lot that is. And another question I'd have is, water, source of water. Because if there's fire and emergency, gotta be back there, wouldn't there need to be hydrants back there?
That would all have to be considered in the comprehensive plan development.
So
So
my
at this
question-
stage, we can allow him, we can give an approval in principle.
In principle.
But he's gonna have to address all those issues, the road construction, the access to the back units, before we'll actually approve the development.
Okay.
So he's gonna have to go through all that work. Right now, we can demand that he address the access road. Is he gonna commit to that? Or we can let him, go through the work of planning his development, But I think it probably reached the conclusion that he's gonna have to construct that access road.
But yeah, I think the burden falls on us to make sure that we've given
Him the-
all the information.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I really think, you know, the wording of approval in principle is not a hard commitment to the applicant. It's, you know what, we're gonna give you this, here, take it to your money people, take it to your construction people, take it to, right? Because you wanna look at it as a huge, overall picture, and at the end of the day, is it something that they want to proceed with or not?
And the agreement in principle is just that, because at the end of the day, he puts up three units, and I got no problem with him putting up those units, but I don't want to be in a position where they're going to come back to the town and say, we got those units up, now you guys got to build roads to it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna have to provide the on-site layout, the road pattern and traffic in relation to even on the on-site, traffic requirements. And I think at the end of the day, he's gonna have to provide some kind of access on that road. He's gonna have to construct that road to provide access to those, back units.
So, based on the, Mr. Butler, you have your hand up?
In his proposal, he states he's gonna do all that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it there now.
Right.
The units are the last phase.
Yeah.
He also says he's gonna seed and grass it.
Right, but the road, he says he's putting in the road,
Uh,
and water and sewer.
It says the future street undeveloped runs north at the west side of Keller Drive would be temporarily disturbed to install new water and sewer services. Once installed, the unused area will be seeded and grassed. That's not a paved road.
Yeah, but
Right,
if you
true.
look at on 4.8, page 5, it clearly states, the proposed motel units will be the third phase. Street and servicing layout include on-site road pattern traffic regulations surrounding community and conform to town standards. He clearly states he's gonna build the road. Once that's done and complete, then he'll do the motel units.
Yeah, so
I think
guess-
it warrants a conversation with him by,
Yeah,
Well,
you lost me, because when you said 4.8,
Okay.
I'm not seeing a 4 point.
So,
We're not item 4.8.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Page
So,
5.
it just basically says the future street undeveloped runs north at the west side of Kellen Drive will be temporarily disturbed to install new water and sewer. Once installed, the unused area, so I'm assuming the street would be a used area, and what's not used as part of the street would be grassed. That's the way I would interpret that.
well, that doesn't imply that he's actually gonna put in a new road. He's gonna put in the water and sewer, and then he's gonna grass it.
Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
do
that's
not-
something he's gonna have to address when he does his comprehensive
Okay.
plan development.
Yeah.
He's gonna do his
We're
comprehensive
still
plan
early on
development.
at this point.
And if he doesn't
Yes.
address access to those back units by the construction of that new road, he's gonna have an issue trying to get that development approved. So he's
That's right.
gonna go through the effort, but in our opinion, we don't think it's gonna work without having adequate access up that new road.
So would that be a discussion with you earlier in stages to make sure that he's aware of the conditions
Well,
in
That's the
moving
point of
forward?
an
I mean,
agreement
this is just a,
principle.
yeah,
approval and.
before the council meeting, I'll bring that to the developer's attention.
Okay.
And at the council meeting, make sure that he's clear, he's gonna have to address the traffic patterns on the site and as well as adjacent to the site. And that any approval in principle would have to address these particular issues.
And would that be updated on this here prior
This
to?
will be updated on the
With all
motion.
information?
Yeah.
Okay.
The motion will be updated to note that, the developer is aware of our requirements and our concerns, and that the comprehensive plan development is going to have to note these concerns and address them.
Okay, as long as we're covering.
I just
And-
wanted to add to
bases.
that, Mayor, that communication with this one is key with the developer and staff.
And with
And with council, because there's a lot of questions here tonight. So that developer's gotta have a lot of questions too. So we should be clear on this before we come back to our public council meeting.
Okay, all right, any further discussion on this?
I just think it's worth pointing out that the necessity for the road, just so that, we make it clear with the developer, the necessity for the road isn't to do with parking, it isn't to do with the town trying to get somebody to build a road for us. It's emergency access, right? At the end of the day, if an emergency vehicle, be it fire, ambulance, whatever, needed to access, we need them to be able to access it in a efficient, quick, safe manner.
With our new fire
And-
truck.
Yeah, well,
With our new fire truck.
without bouncing down a dirt road, basically, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a safety thing,
Yeah.
and, I mean, just, looking at it through those lenses instead of, we're not trying to make things difficult, we're trying to make them safe.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, no further discussion, and nothing else in your report there, Counselor? No? That's it?
Nope.
Okay, Protective Services, anything, Deputy Mayor?
We don't have any recommendations, but I just wanted to touch a little bit on public safety. There was lots of conversations on public safety in the last week, and I don't think we're any further ahead. As a council, we've been trying to meet with them for weeks and weeks, and we don't have a confirmed time to meet with the Premier and the Minister of Justice and our MHA. They are coming back and forth and saying, yes, we're gonna meet, yes, we're gonna meet. Minister Evans and Minister Russell and Minister of Justice, but public safety is a huge issue. They campaigned on it. We shouldn't have to get here and beg and get on the media and beg for a meeting, and we don't have time. So we don't have any measures in place for public safety. They did not renew the $500,000 public safety money. So I just wanted to put that out there that, we need to sit down and meet sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Do we have any of that 500,000 left?
I think that's,
32, the last I heard, CAO?
The last time I looked, I think we still have bills from Garda for last year.
Right,
I
Okay.
don't remember exact what it is, but it's very little. It wouldn't be enough to hire them for a month.
right, okay.
Counselor Rumble?
I think it's disheartening to sit down and watch the evening news and hear that they are trying to meet with us when we are not hearing it at this table. So that's disheartening, but seeing we're in the protective services side of things and Deputy Mayor mentioned, the policing side. We celebrated or recognized Nursing Week here earlier with a proclamation, and National Police Week is May 10th to the 16th, and we have the busiest detachment, and everybody has seen them, they're just constantly, you hear jokes on TV shows about police officers in coffee shops, and I saw the police officers at the coffee shop this morning, and they weren't sitting around eating donuts. They were working really hard. We hear the announcement in the budget about resources for additional policing, but yet they don't say which communities, and everybody wants them. And so you're watching your evening news, and you got somebody saying, "Oh, we're so glad to hear this because hopefully it'll come to our community," and all the municipalities have dire need. But I'm not saying our need is greater than any other municipality, but it's one thing to make announcements, it's another thing to make commitments.
My
And we don't have
frustration
commitments.
was with the Justice Minister themselves saying that they are in consultation with the town of Happy Valley
They
Goose
are
Bay.
not.
And we have had that initial meeting, and we have had zero
Radio silence.
from them since. So
I-
that's misleading. It's misleading to the public, it's misleading in the news, and it's misleading to this community that deserves better.
I will tell you, I did receive a call from the minister's office indicating that they want to meet, no idea when. That call came prior to the Justice Minister speaking to the media on Friday. I believe it was Friday, or Thursday or Friday.
Friday?
And because there was, like you said, there was a number of media interviews conducted last week, Deputy Mayor and myself. And we were getting some response back, but there's no firm dates on when that meeting will take place. I do understand, and the minister alluded to that during her TV interview, as well as Minister Evans during the discussion with the chamber on Friday, that they are working to try and put something together where it won't be just a meeting with a minister. It will be several ministers along with the Premier. So council needs to be quite prepared for that when that happens. And so that we're all on the same page, and that hopefully it'll be a productive meeting, and it's not one of those meetings where people fly into our community, sit down and talk to us for half an hour, and then all of a sudden they leave and they no longer know we exist anymore. So hopefully this is going to be a productive meeting. The indications are that government, I have to give government the benefit of the doubt. They've only been in office for 6 months or so. There's a lot of demands, I'm sure, and this one is certainly on their radar, and hopefully we'll see something productive come out of all this in the not too distant future.
Mayor, I just wanted to say one thing to that, though. I don't remember the date, but I think we've sent about 3 letters to the Premier's office, and I don't know when we started CAO, but 2 or 3 months ago. So to come back last Friday and say that we are in consultation to meet with you is not right. And we got a letter back stating that they couldn't meet with us because the house was open. And we even offered to fly out there and meet with some of the ministers. So what the hold up is, I do not know. They are not communicating with this council. To say that they are going to meet with us, yes, they did say that, but when? And, there's no measures in place right now. And what really gets me is they campaigned, their number 1 priority was public safety. And we're screaming out for help here, and they're not sitting down with us.
As we will be held accountable for our actions as a municipal government, they will be held accountable for provincial government. And again, we advocate for this town and try to do the best we can to get these people to the table, to have discussions of an issue that's well known in this community for years on end. Again, you're right, Deputy Mayor, they campaign on public safety, and they know full well the situation that we've been in from prior councils. And again, when they come to the table, if they come to the table, we'll have discussions to address or try to address this. But again, we will be accountable for our actions as a municipal government. They will be held accountable for their actions as provincial government. And I hope the residents of Happy Valley Goose Bay do realize that as well, and that they are representations of the people of this town just as well that they are of the town of Gander, Corner Brook, and St. John's. These are the provincial governments that have a responsibility to us as well, even though we live in Labrador.
Okay. Councillor Winters.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that issue. I wanted to bring up the ATVs on the bike path, because I know we discussed it. We were just discussing fines, we were discussing impoundment of vehicles, and now everything is clear now. So that bike path is being used by ATVs and side-by-sides. And we still don't have a plan in place for what we're gonna do, or what we're gonna do about whether we're gonna fine with a large fine, whether we're gonna impound, or how that works with Brad and Barry and the RCMP, because they're all gonna have to be involved. And I think right now, like I say, everything is dry now, so the season has already started and we haven't done anything on it. I was just wondering if we can move that agenda up too, because this is gonna get real serious real soon. Because somebody's gonna be hurt.
I agree with you, Councilor Winters, but I thought at our last public meeting that we had all agreed that municipal enforcement would sit up there and start handing out some huge fines.
But we haven't set the fines or any rules on it yet, right? So
Not part of our
I don't think he can do anything until he has a mandate.
Yeah.
You can enforce that piece under the off-road vehicle.
Yes, under the Off-Road Vehicle Act, he can enforce that. And I would venture to guess, the minute you haul over somebody going down there on an ATV and you seize the vehicle and you do another one, eventually people won't go down there because they're not gonna wanna lose their vehicles.
Mr. Butler, can you answer if he's done any of that to date?
That I don't think he has. The piece is that, and it's no different than previous years. You go on the bike trail, the minute that, say, a quad or a side-by-side sees that enforcement vehicle, the vehicle's gone.
Park down by the school when they rise at school.
Pardon, Mayor?
When, park at the school, and when they arrive off the trail at the school, you got them.
You can do that piece, yes.
Yeah.
And just, that's the only way you're gonna get
And stay
attention
on
to
it
this issue.
until it gets around, word gets
Yeah.
around.
Mayor?
Now, that's with youth, but I mean, I have to say, Saturday was a beautiful weather day, and I was uptown and by the roundabout near, the upper end of Kellen Drive, there were two men, not boys, not youth, men, on very nice, fancy, expensive ATVs. They had their helmets, their full gear. They were people that you would think would be
No better.
law-abiding citizens, and they were stopped at the roundabout, and they were sitting there having, a break and getting ready to head down the bike trail. The ATVs were pointed to go downtown, but they had just stopped and gotten off and were having a little chat, and I was so tempted to pull my vehicle over and say, "Excuse me, you can't do this." But I think perhaps we should consider right now, and whether people pay attention or not, I do think we should consider a social media blast, a release where we say this is not permitted. A lot of it is common sense. We always say, common sense tells you you're not allowed in an ATV on that bike trail or walking trail, but perhaps we do just need to blast it again where it's out on our Facebook page, on our website, and on our town sign saying ATV use is not permitted on the paved trail and violators will be prosecuted.
Mr. Dillon, is there any signage on all the way down the trail now? No ATVs? Did anybody put new signage up when the trail was?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be an enforcement issue. We don't,
But who puts the signs up?
It was done last year, yeah.
Okay, right after it was built.
Yeah.
Maybe we need more up.
Yeah, I'm thinking more coordination with our MEO and the RCMP so that they, like you said, if you get a blitz at the start and you catch 5 or 6.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the word will spread that if you're caught, you will lose your vehicle. And like I said, I wasn't sure about the rules of if your vehicle's impounded, how do you get it out or how do you get it back? These things are $13,000, $20,000 rigs.
To which you
And,
think you'd have more sense.
Yes, exactly. But again, we only have one MEO, and like Brad said, they can just scoot off into the woods. But if it's coordinated effort with the RCMP, is to nab that first couple and do a blitz every now and then if it gets out of hand. Then, like I said, you're not gonna want to be on that.
And when the deputy asked about signage, make sure there's signage at every access point, right? So right there by the Tim Hortons end or over here, right there at Kellen Drive, near the school, like every access point, make sure that there are, whatever it costs us to put signs up, so nobody can look at you and say, "Oh, I didn't know, I didn't see anything." Put the signs up.
Okay, Councillor Odell?
Yeah, I just
last
got
comment?
one question for the chief, is that, would foot patrols be something that we could entertain?
We got nobody to do it.
Well, I guess we can pick a certain day, one day per week. Not gonna say pouring rain, but if there's a nice day that we could utilize a foot patrol and have, whether it's his phone or whatever the case would be, to catch some of these people, because if he's walking, again, we have plainclothes RCMP officers, can we have a plainclothes MEO to walk the trail just to see what's out there and capture where we're to and the level?
Barry's walking that trail, he's in danger of getting run over.
Well,
telling you.
that's no doubt, yeah, well,
Councillor, I won't say it's not an option, but I think the piece is that you're only catching if the honest ones stop.
The other piece.
well, even if they don't stop, yeah, well, I'm not even concerned, well, I am concerned, I prefer them to stop, but if he's up close and personal with these vehicles going past him, and he has some type of video surveillance that he can see what's going on, is that a secondary measure that we can go back and say, okay, well, I just watched this ATV drive by, we know who you are, is that an option for ticketing then, if we're able to identify an individual or
Yeah, it's possible, but I think, and I think what the deputy mayor or Councillor Dyson said, I'm not sure which one, but the piece of maybe starting at that offshoot by Winnie Meadow, maybe that is the start,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We also have some surveillance cameras that we've used for other uses. Is it a possibility that we can get a couple of surveillance cameras put there just to capture and say, look, between in this 24-hour period, we've captured 47 ATVs on the trail.
That might be an option, and like you said, you're only capturing that it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no plates that you might see per se, or whatever, but it is an option to look
Yeah.
at these.
The other thing is CSR department always monitored that area with the garbage and picking up the garbage and whatever. So if their staff see anything, they could report, anything they see too, right? Yeah.
Well, in all honesty, the public itself, the community themselves can report anything. If someone's walking that trail and they're seeing an ATV going by and they've got their camera with them or their phone with them, and they take a snap and say, hey, look what's going
File
on.
and access E11.
Yep, and
Okay.
then file and access the 11, exactly.
All right, anything else, Deputy Mayor?
No.
Nothing else? Okay, we'll move on to the next committee, Municipal Services. Councillor Williams, I know you're on the phone, but is there anything you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so. There's no recommendations at this time for municipal services for the council meeting, and I have my report prepared for the week after next.
Okay, all right.
One
Community
thing on that,
Service and
though.
Recreation?
One thing on that though is, the date of the opening of the, land waste, yard waste. That's
Yeah.
open tomorrow? Or is that
Tomorrow.
Today.
Okay, I just wanted to get that out there because that was one thing that I didn't see in
Yeah.
the report, that it was open or not.
And unfortunately, I was there on the weekend and there were garbage bags thrown outside the gate. The gate was locked. I went up with my stuff. The gate was locked, so my husband and I turned around and took it to the town dump. We didn't leave it there, but it was disheartening, at the very least, to get to the closed gate and see that people had just thrown
But it's open.
plastic garbage bags full of leaves and
That's
grass.
another
And there's
area
more,
that needs to
there's
be
more, there's more than just leaves and grass that's being dumped up there as well. And the municipal enforcement line, as well as the municipal enforcement officer, has been made aware that one of the occupants up on the property, up on the transmitter road, has for several days been picking up new garbage that has been dumped regularly up there. Not land waste, not for that, but in some cases it was bags and bags of business garbage. There was bags of recyclables, and in amongst those bags, there were packing slips and receipts and information that identified where that came from. So that is with the municipal enforcement officer right now and needs to be acted on, because that's, that can't
Not
be happening.
acceptable.
Another blitz for our posts.
So, and again, here's another
Yeah.
situation where we have that, the access to the, I guess, the dump on Court Real, that is great for the community. It's close by. They don't have to drive 15, 20 kilometers to the landfill, and yet people continue to abuse it. So basically, back to the same thing with the bike trail. If there's people and residents within the community that's down there dumping their grass, and the majority of people are doing it correctly, they see somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing, take a picture. File in
Speak up.
111, speak up. None of us want this to happen, and we cringe when we see it occur. So if you're in the situation where you see someone doing it, you can either talk to them. If not, take a picture, file an E11. You can just file an E11 at the town, and we'll address it at that point in time. But everybody needs to step up and try to alleviate some of these concerns that we have through this community.
And in one incident, actually, with that, when the municipal enforcement officer asked them if they took pictures, he said, well, I haven't, but you can take pictures because I had to take all that garbage home, and it's there by the side of my house now waiting for the community cleanup. So if you want to go down and take those bags and go through them,
Yeah.
and anyway, they did go down and they took pictures, and it's...
I just got one question with regards to the Court Real dump, I call it a dump, it's not,
Waste yard.
a waste yard. Do we have a sign there stating about the removal of bags, or if you?
Yes.
Yep.
Big
there is there-
sign that
big sign
tells you
says-
where to put your grass, where to
But
put
does it
your
say
waste.
remove
Yeah.
bags
Yeah.
from, okay, as long as that's being stated, so I'm, okay. I wasn't
Okay.
quite sure, I read the sign, but I missed that.
I would, and I know at one point there used to be a garbage container there. I know that some people say, if you put a garbage container there, somebody's gonna put their garbage in it. But if you go to other municipalities where they have these yard waste sites, they have a garbage bucket there, because some people go with their plastic bags and they empty their lawn clippings, and then they're stuck with a bag. Some cases you can recycle them. A lot of cases you're bringing them home and you're going into the landfill. So, I mean, I think that should be
trash
looked
can.
at. I mean, you're not looking at putting like a bin there, just something, because a lot of people do that. They come up, and maybe that was the case. They might have been out scraping up their dog crap from all winter, and it is compostable. So they probably brought that up there and didn't want to take the bags back, so they just threw the whole bag out. So maybe that's an option to look at some point.
Yeah, that's a solution, guaranteed. I mean, if you go there and rip your bags open and dump your leaves, and there's a bin there to throw your garbage bag in there, great.
Yeah.
As long as the garbage bin stays there, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, so, well, I mean, I think
Another
we did it one
camera.
time before.
Another
We
camera,
probably had
yeah.
problems with that, which is the reason why it's still not there, but
Yeah.
I think staff probably should look at it again.
Then again, it's not a whole lot to ask for an individual to take a couple of garbage bags home, again, unless those situations where they're full of, excrement. Outside of that, I mean,
They
basically.
shouldn't be at
they-
the yard waste.
And it shouldn't be,
site.
yeah, because actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
but people do
That's not what
it,
it's
so.
for.
no.
All right, so, we'll move right on to, Mr. Winters
Yes,
and,
Dave had to sign as well, right?
Recreation, Community Service and Recreation.
Tells you what's permitted.
All right, can I request the CSR director to come down? I'm one of the lucky ones that has a director here at every meeting. There's just a couple of things I want to discuss, is all.
Mr. Butler's here. Vikram's here.
Randy's here. Randy's here. Margaret's here.
Kathy's here.
You're here just as often as I am.
Central score clock. I know we budgeted. Now, what we got coming up is no user group wants to help us in the payment. I know this was a budgeted item, and this is why I think we need to discuss it as council. This was a $130,000 budget that we budgeted. Now, like, I think this may be a decision on council, is do we go with the recommendation of a mirrored clock?
I will hold back on this, expecting some funding agreement to come in.
Okay,
place,
you did it
so-
like core too as well, right?
And
Yeah.
further conversation with some user group. Since I wrote the report, I may have some progress, so
Okay,
I
good.
will hold on this.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I need to sit with the CAO to
All right,
revise the
'cause I just
budget
seen what was in your
and
report
propose
and-
something. Yeah, I had no movement until
Yeah.
a few days ago. So,
Okay, good. The other thing was the Sports Hall of Fame. Now, I don't think you're gonna get much help from the MHA. And I went through the Sports Hall of Fame. Basically, the Sport and L Hall of Fame only has one member here from Valley-Goose Bay, and Softball Newfoundland has 3, I think, Max Peters, Kevin Lane, and former town manager Al Dorno. And there's a couple that are in the, that had the Order of Newfoundland, based on their contribution to sport. Other than that, we're not gonna get much from them.
Okay.
So I think it's time for you guys to move forward on developing our own Sport Hall of Fame sort of thing, right?
Well, I have a draft
Yeah,
term
exactly.
of reference, so we should be.
And I
able to
did get a
progress
letter
it.
from Marlene Winters-Wheeler, I'll send it to the rest of the council, was that she sent a letter back in 2018 requesting space in the YMCA for some sort of memorabilia or whatever to be placed, but it was never acted on. So I think that's another thing you can follow up with Marlene on and speak with Y, I guess, on it. But again, until your plan comes out, we'll just wait.
Yeah, if
with
my memory serves
anticipation.
me well, the 2018 request was answered, like it was initially looked to be incorporated in the,
Okay.
in the project. The engineering have done some quote, and then with the pricing of building or looking at it, was rejected by council
Okay.
because of price. And then when the YMCA was open, I cannot comment if that was revisited
Yes.
or not, so I was not
Yeah.
part of the town at that point, so.
All right, and the most exciting thing that I've seen come across this in a long time is something I've been wanting for a long time, is your recommendation. This is amazing. I've been waiting for this NL Games bid for 2030. And I think this gotta go to council. I think y'all got the briefing note. I mean, this is,
2028, 2030, or 2032.
yeah, well, considering the timeline, either way. I know we're not gonna hit 2028, pretty sure, because,
And then all my recommendation would be to bid for a summer game, like we
Yes,
build
Not the
the whole
exactly.
thing that was envisioned, we built a facility to do
yeah,
it.
that's where I was too with it as well, because I thought of this several years ago, and I brought it to the last council in discussion, was with NNL games comes our facilities. And I've, like, when I talk about our facilities, I mean, these are the facilities, all the facilities across town need to be brought up, and we need, even if we didn't get the NL games, I would like to see facility-wise that we're ready for NL games. That would give we would have enough ball fields. We would have our tennis courts, we would have our beach volleyball courts, we would have our soccer fields.
Track and field.
Exactly, and like say, we got a half-finished sport complex up there, so this is, right, like I said, this is one of the best things I've seen basically since I've been on these two councils of this something of this magnitude. Because you don't realize, yes, we can host the games, but you look at the winter games, we already have the facilities. With this comes a lot more. And plus, it's bigger, it's NL, so you're looking at not 300 people coming here, but you're looking at pretty close to 1,000.
Well, you're looking at
Or 2,500,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
over.
800 people each
Yeah,
half week.
for each one, so yeah, you're looking at 2,000 people
You
over
need
2 weeks.
Multiple volunteers.
Yes,
1,000
I think we're fine with the volunteers, but I'm just like, where I was with it was the facility-wise, because I think that's the only thing that we would, right now, we're not prepared for.
And accommodations, and like, so, I mean, there is interest in building more hotel, motel space, so, and there'll probably be a bit more in the next little while as well, so.
All right, did you want to say anything else on this?
Well, it is a considerable amount of work to need to be
definitely.
done to propose
This
the
is- yeah.
bill, so like it being, like, obviously, that's why it came in today, because it need to be submitted by June 12th, so it may
Yeah.
require a number of, a letter of support.
So I look forward to having a discussion at the council meeting and supporting the recommendation you put forward. I think it's a great,
Yeah.
great briefing note, and
Yes, thank you
I
so
think
much for it.
if we're successful, it'll be very exciting, not only for our community, but for the whole entire region, so.
Well, not only that, the province, they can finally come up and see what Louder's about.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, anything
you.
else?
All right, thanks, Don.
I had a question, I sent the email, but I didn't get a response, and I seen in the report that there was 10 students, and I think that was through, the federal student program, Dominic?
Yeah, so we are 10 position funder under the Canada Summer Job Program.
Right,
So we started an interview with the summer rec director. Two of the position are labor, beautification labor, so they'll be able to help us with the work that we need to do outside.
right. And was there any proof through the province, or you haven't heard?
I haven't received the agreement. I received a phone call yesterday that we have one position funded through the province. And I've received the green job under CPRA that we were the only recipient in the province last year. We are approved again. I received this Monday.
Just a second.
So, with all the students now, that will help with some of the operations.
It will help. It's always help. It will help us maintaining. It's
With the
like the
grass.
reality is like we always in a crunch when we have 16-hour preparation a day at the arena, and right now until the lap cup, like we have teams that play until 11:30 almost every night. And then snow melted extremely fast, and we have all the sport field to prepare for the outdoor user group, all the playground. So we're on it.
So that's good, you
Just
got a
take
full
them.
staff over there, 9 staff, you got 10 students,
We have
and
we have
maybe a couple more.
8 facility staff
Yeah.
and 1 program staff. He's not outside. He's planning Canada Day. He's planning Rib Fest. He's going to help with the bid for the NL games. Like, so we have 8 facility staff, but I also have staff at the arena because of
Great stuff.
the operation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, anything else, Councilor Winters? That it?
No, I'd say, great job, Don.
Okay, so, that's it for today, so we'll just have I guess there's no motion to adjourn.
Motion
It's,
to adjourn.
no vote on it, so a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. So